Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar brought to you by Bursa Malaysia and managed by LifeChain. And today, our topic is on informed investing, the way for sustainable growth. So, if you want to grow your capital, grow your wealth sustainably in the long run, then today's topic is what you need to check it out, because we of course at all times encourage informed investing. That means when we invest, we must base it on facts and data, but not on our gut and instinct. So we must use facts and data to help us to make informed investment decisions. So this is the topic today, and we are very excited because today we have overwhelming response as well. So if you're ready for this session, just tell us, type in the chat box like where you are tuning in from. Okay, let us know where you're tuning in from. Yeah, hello everybody. We have PJ, KL, Penang, JB, Subang, Penang, Osaka. We have one from Osaka. Wow. Thanks for joining us all the way from Japan. Tanjung Malim, Kedah, PD. Do you have any friends tuning in from East Malaysia? Oh, Kuching, I see. Yes, Kuching, Sarawak, Borneo. Okay. Sabah, Perth. We also have a friend tuning in from Perth. Okay, cool. Wow, in Perth, it should be quite late in the evening already. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for tuning in from all over the world, not only from Malaysia, but also we have one from Australia and from Japan as well. So today we are going to explore about informed investing, the way for sustainable growth. Now, disclaimer for this webinar is that whatever we share on this webinar is only for educational purpose. In no way that I give any recommendation to buy or sell any companies that we do case studies on in this webinar. So if you decide to buy or sell anything, you do it at your own risk. Okay, 100% responsible for all your investment decision. Now, allow me to introduce our speaker today. And Alex is a financial professional with background in stockbroking, equipment and project financing, commercial credit, loan documentation, and credit administration. He has been a capital market service representative since 1994. That's over 27 years of experience, okay? And now is currently a remiser attached with Kenanga Investment Bank. Now, having the wealth of experience in the capital market, he has contributed his ideas and experience in the following ways. He is a publisher of an investment blog, Next Trade, since 2006. And sometimes if you Google some trade ideas, right, I think Next Trade could appear in the Google search as well. An official blogger for Malaysia Stock.biz, an investment portal since 2017. So if you if you go to Malaysia Stock.biz, sometimes you may chance into his article. And he's also a graduate member of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. All right, so Alex is a very experienced capital market professionals in the market. So of course, he's well qualified to conduct this session. So it's not so easy to get Alex to do a session for us. So we really appreciate your time, Alex, for joining us in this webinar. So Alex, are you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. So let me hand over the session to you. Okay, over to you, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for inviting me to take part in the Bursa webinar for 2021. I'm indeed very honored, and also thank you for the kind introductions. And good evening to all the participants for this evening webinar. I hope that we will have enjoyable sessions. Now, as we speak, who would have thought that if you look back a year ago in March of 2020, when the market was dropping so sharply due to the pandemic, we would have, after that, a year of very exciting time in the stock market. I couldn't say that everyone make money in the market, but I would say that it has been a market where there were many opportunities for us to participate and could have made some money. And I hope that all of you did make a bit of money in the market. Now we have seen stocks that have gone up substantially. 100% is quite common. Some has even gone up 10-folds, some even 20-folds. Some has gone up with good reasons, other for no apparent reasons. And during that time, we have also seen many stocks have dropped back sharply. Investors have been caught in this market, and at times they are very confused. So the big question that we would ask ourselves is, how can we strive to grow our portfolio sustainably? So this evening, we would like to share with you how you could do that, how to have sustainable investing in a market that at times are very, very choppy. Now, I must say that what we are going to share this evening would be fairly basic investment idea, lessons, right? It is sometimes, you can say, boring, tedious, and simple. But it is also very important that we take home some of these lessons or some of these rules to guide us, because investing in the stock market is really about 3 basic rules. We aspire to buy stocks where the share prices would likely to go up. We avoid buying stocks where the share prices are likely to go down. Now, these are very simple rules, but it is really hard to do. And because they are very hard to do, we fall into the trap of buying into stocks that are running up very sharply. So the third rule that we must bear in mind is about the risk in investing. We must not be tempted to buy into stock just because the prices are going up. So have a good risk policy in your investing or even in your trading so that you won't be caught up. So ladies and gentlemen, with that aside, I will now jump into what are the topics for this evening. First, why study market data and financial results? Where to get this data? How to study this data? And what to look for? Now, you can see that we are looking at 2 sets of data. One is market data, and the other one is financial result. Now, I want to group them together, starting with market data, and to answer the why, where, how, and what. And then we move on to the financial results. The same thing, why, where, how, and what. So if we do that systematically, I think it's easier for you to follow what we have to share this evening. And before we start, I want to say that I'm looking forward to a participative sessions, so that if you find that at any point in time that some of the steps that I suggested or explanation given are not very clear, please put your questions in the chat box, and Sean will flag it and raise it and share it with me later on. I will answer the question as much as possible without interrupting the flow of these sessions. So now we jump into the sessions. Right. Studying market data for investment decision making. Now, when we talk about market data, we refer to the data that we get from the market throughout the trading sessions, at the end of the trading sessions. Now, what are these? When it comes to stocks, we are looking at share prices and trading volume. But this information can be taken out to generate additional information. For example, for the broader market, we can look at indices for the overall market, for different segments of the market, for different market sectors. We can also look at the scoreboard, the advanced and declining issues. That will give us indications whether the market rally is broad-based or is it just selective and concentrated in certain segments or in certain sectors. Now, this evening, we will talk mainly about share prices and how we can try to pick good stocks to invest in, as well as to avoid the not so good stocks. So the premise of why we look into this is simply this: changes in share prices leads to changes in outlook for the stocks. Now, where to get the data? Basically, there are three places that you can get the data. Bursa Malaysia is the first place that you can go to. Later, I will share with you where you can get the data. The second place would be your own broker online trading platform. Now, I'm listed down here, CanTrade or BTX. As a reminder, my system is the BTX, the broker transaction exchange, but CanTrade is the online trading platform for the customer. So whether you are with Kananga or with another firm, basically the online trading portal or platform would have roughly about the same thing. You will have a trading hall where you can view the prices, and later you can actually key in the order to buy or sell. You would have the link to Bursa. You also have access to statements pertaining to your transaction and your portfolio, as well as you will have certain programs that are useful, like research, access to the research report, as well as charting program. So these are very basic, and we will take a quick look at them. And lastly, you can also get market data from malaysiastock.biz. Right, now I'm going to go to share with you how you can do that. The first place we are going to is Bursa Malaysia. Now, Bursa Malaysia, I'm already on the screen for equity prices, right? But if you are landing on Bursa website for the first time, the place to go is here, market information, right? And you click on equity prices, and you would have it all here. And by default, you will be viewing top active stocks for the day, right? These are the stocks, and in the first page, you will have 20 stocks. Normally, what I would do would be I would just copy the whole page and I would paste it onto an Excel sheet so that I can then do my study. Right. The next thing that you can go to would be to, in my case, CanTrade, right? So you may be looking at something else, but this is CanTrade. Now, this is probably the more popular place for most full-time traders or investors, because you will be viewing the market prices real time. Anywhere else, the prices would be a few minutes late, but if you are on your broker online trading platform, the prices will be real time. If it is late, it is just a second or two, especially during the early day during the pandemic. I think in the month of March or June, May or June, there was some delay that dragged on a few seconds. So otherwise, they are real-time informations. So you can sort out how you want to present the information if you are doing this real-time. So you can have top gainer or top loser and so on. So this is one place that you can do it real-time. The only disadvantage is that you cannot copy the entire page and put it on the Excel spreadsheet. But that is a small disadvantage, considering that if you are doing this real time, you can immediately access, for example, the technical chart, so it is very, very friendly and very useful, right? The next thing that you can go to get information, the next website would be malaysiastock.biz. All right, this is the website. Okay, you can go to the market tab and you can access, for example, the top volume stocks. So you can copy the entire page and paste it onto an Excel sheet and to do your study. So basically, that is the 3 places that I go to get stocks that are either very active or they are top gainer or top losers, right? So after I've done that, so we are looking at how you can study the market data. My practice is to group them into top volume, top gainers, and top losers, right? This is how I would do it. And I will have a column for my own comments about that particular stocks. Whether the stock present trading opportunity or whether there is danger that I can alert my customers. So from this list, you can go through it and do your analysis. Now, my analysis is, to start off, is technical, right? If I look at the stocks, excuse me, if I look at the stocks that have gone up a lot, I may go in and study why, whether it is technically there's a breakout or otherwise. Now, you don't have to go through the entire list. You may have your own rules as you go along. As for myself, I would skip stocks that are trading below 10 cents. I may also skip stocks that I feel that it has gone up too much, or if they have been going up without good reasons, I will skip those stocks. So out of a list like this, which is about 30 old stocks, I may study about 5 or 10 of them. And sometimes I can pick up a stock that has achieved a breakout. So with that, I can share with my customers. Whether they would like to get into the stock or not, it is up to them. So basically, that is one way of doing that. And what you hope to achieve here is actually to look for bullish or bearish signals to buy or to sell. The second thing that you want to hope to achieve is to actually look for setup for entry or exits. Now, I'm going to show you how you can do that, looking at the technical side first. I will also show you two websites, Malaysia Stock Biz as well as KLSE i3 Investors, where you can get information that can give you an insight as to why the stocks is going up or going down, right? Now, take today's top volume, for example. The first stock is DNEX, all right? And if you have not seen this stock before, you may want to study the stocks. I remember one of my friends called me this morning and asked me whether this stock can be a buy or not. Right. So let's take a look at these stocks. Now, one of my favorite charting program to use is actually Malaysia stock.biz chart. Okay, this chart is very useful. You can access it for free. Now we are already on the chart for DNEX. I remember a while back I looked at these stocks and I actually told some of my friends that this stock looks quite interesting because it looks like when it was going above 25-30 cents, it has a breakout above a downtrend line that is stretched back all the way to 2017. Let me show you. Right, if you can draw a line here connecting the peak of the share prices through this period, you will see that there is a breakout somewhere in the month of January 2021, just two months back. All right, there's a breakout. It may not be very clear, so what you do is you can just double click and you just look at the price charts. All right, this is the price chart without the indicator. Yeah, the indicator is at the bottom here. So you just look at the price chart. It's very clear. There's a breakout here, and the stock has rallied up very sharply. Now, assuming that you step back in time and somewhere in January you saw something like this happen to these stocks, you can quickly grab the opportunity to buy stocks, right? So that is one of the reasons why you want to look at the top volume, top gainer, the top loser. Not that every stock would be a buy, or for the matter, will be a sell, but because they have achieved gains or they have achieved the volume that justify why we must look into them. We look into them because something is happening here and you want to look for the opportunity to get into the stocks or to avoid the stock, as the case may be, right? Take an example, another example today, say MRCB, all right? MRCB is a stock that, if you look at it, is in a long decline, right? It's in a long decline, right? You can actually draw a trend line to show very clearly the decline in these stocks. And of course, we are way below the downtrend line. But our interest would be in the recent movement of the stocks. You see, if you look at the daily chart, just now we were looking at the weekly chart. All right, let me just show you again. This is a weekly chart, right? So if you look at the daily chart, right, recently the stock has achieved a breakout. If you draw this line here, okay, the stock has done a breakout and it became a buy, right? Now, that's why you need to study the chart from time to time. That breakout, which happened somewhere in the early part of March, 9th of March, would have caused many people to jump into the stocks. But a few days later, it fell back below the breakout line, right? And it fell below that, and it become a sell. You know, you might want to step aside because you do not know how far it will go down. So, but you can actually draw a few more short-term uptrend lines, so to speak. Like, for example, if you go back somewhere in the month of November, December, there was also one short rally where the stock actually went up, like went up this way. Let me make it clear for you. All right. And when you look at that, the stocks has an uptrend line and it rebounded back. Now, assuming that you have gone into these stocks and you felt that it may or may not be able to break through this downtrend line, let me make it red color for you so that red would denote downtrend, and this blue will be a short-term uptrend line. You can actually use this short-term uptrend line as a support where there could be a rebound. So it could rebound back where you then would exit, because it may or may not be able to break through this downtrend line. So as I said, it can be a setup where you can use that to then look forward to a rebound, and then you can actually try to sell at the downtrend line. This would be the resistance, right? And if we are to look at MRCB today, right? Again, it is a short-term uptrend line. You can put it in blue. So the next time these stocks would drop, the next 1 week or so, or the next few days, it would drop down to this level, say 44 or 45 cents. It could be an opportunity for you to actually get into the stocks because it may rebound back. Or if you are stuck in these stocks, if the stock rebound back, you can actually see that this is the resistance level, the red line, and you can exit it. So that is why you want to study, you want to compile up this information from the market data so that you can take a look at that. Is it an opportunity to buy, or is it an opportunity to sell? Because you are aware of where the resistance are and where the supports are. Now, sometimes a stock may go up that just beyond your, your ability to actually explain it, and you just want to know really what actually driving these stocks up. Now, one of these is KPS. KPS, let me just draw the nice trend for you. Yeah. Again, this is a setup, As you know, technical analysis, yeah, you have 2 touch point. It is a tentative uptrend. When you have 3 touch point, it is a confirmed uptrend. We are looking at uptrend. Of course, if it's downtrend, similarly, if it touches the trend line twice, it's tentative, and 3 times it's confirmed. So here you have a confirmed uptrend, and you can actually get into these stocks. And where would you be exiting after you got into these stocks? You may be drawing a line like this, that this could be one reason for you to exit. But you will also want to find out, why did the stock go up so sharply here? Was there any reason for that? Was it result announcement? Was it a new project that landed? So you go and check it out. Now, how do you go and check it out? Now, let me share with you, because a website that there are two websites. One, of course, is the Malaysia stock base that you can look through the entire makeup of the company, all the way from the financials to the dividends and all that. Let me start with Malaysia stock base. First, KPS. All right, you can just search for KPS, and now I find this to be a very useful website, not only just for the charting, but also for general information about the stock. So if you look at, for example, KPS here, all right, you get information like P and all that. You can also get it from your online trading portal. But there are other things that quickly caught your eyes, your attention. Financial highlight is one of them. KPS is a company that is profitable, marginally profitable, yeah, and that is the quarterly result. And you can actually look at the annual reports or earning or revenue. You see that it has been profitable most of the time, except for in 2018. So that is one place that you can actually get a sense of whether this is a company that is actually doing business, doing serious business, because they are a company that hardly make any profits. And the next thing you may, just below that, you have the quarterly report, and this is a very useful source of information. We will come back to it later on, because this actually simplify the work of those who really want to do fundamental analysis on the trend of companies' revenue and also earnings. This is a very good place. Before I discovered this place, I actually did my own compilation of quarterly revenue and earnings. And I can tell you, it is a lot of work. And the second thing I want to highlight here is that the quarterly earning for in Malaysia stock base is up to date very quickly. The company announced a result in a matter of, I don't know, maybe even 10 minutes or 5 minutes. It is here on the website. So it is very useful. Next, you will have also the dividend information. As a reminder, my client always asks me about dividend, whether they are paying dividend, whether the dividend, how much is it the last year and all that. This is a place that you can get all these information, right? There are other information as well. For example, the latest announcement from the company, and also the changes in the shareholdings. So from one place, you can get so much information. Now, the other website that is very useful is klse.i3investor. Now, let me just quickly show you what it is. This is the place, klse.i3investor. Now, let's just say we go to KPS again. All right, KPS. And what are the information that you will get from here? All right. I like this for two reasons. I'm sure there are other reasons as well. I like it because most of the time you will get research report from this website, right? You also get some more popular blogger putting up their idea about the stocks. And if you were to come to this website on the 9th of March, you will find out that Kun Yin posted about KPS. He actually pointed out KPS as the most underrated stocks. Yeah, you can go in and check it out for yourself. And of course, Kun Yin has big following. He has achieved success in a few stocks that he has invested in. Dayang, or even, I think Supermax as well. So he has a big following, and for that one post by Kuhn, the price went up from something like 90 cents to about 120. So it has gone up. That's one reason. And of course, besides research report, and also sometimes you get information like articles from blogger, you also get target price. Now, the target price is most useful if the stock has been covered by many analysts. For example, some of the banks, target price is a place that you can actually go to and you can look at. Let's just go inside and check it out. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's only one report from M Invest on KPS. But if you go to a few of the more popular stocks, you will find there are a lot of reports inside there. So you will get an idea. Right. So basically, that is what you look for when you actually look at market data. Shane, is there any questions posted in the chat group?
So far, no questions yet.
All right. Now just take a sip first. Now I'm going to move on to the studying of financial result. All right. Now, when we talk about financial results, we are referring to quarterly results. We're not referring to audited result or annual report. We are looking at quarterly result. And quarterly result is a very important source of information. A few months back, there was some talk about phasing out quarterly result and, maybe having it half yearly. I hope that it never happens, because that would mean that we will have to wait for 6 months to find out how well is a company doing. Now, why are we studying quarterly result? We are studying it because we want to look at their performance, the financial performance. Has the revenue and profits increased quarter on quarter or year on year? Were revenue and profit in steady growth? Yeah, I mean, it may be improving. Is it a steady growth? Is it a one-off thing, or is it actually accelerating? If you look at some of the technology stocks, you'll find that the growth has been very steady, and in some cases even accelerating. So, which is why technology stock has performed very well in the past 1 year. And the basis or the reason why we look into quarterly result is because we believe that changes in financial result lead to changes in outlook and eventually changes in share prices. Right. Now, the two places that you go to get quarterly results, the most obvious place is Bursa Malaysia. The second place will be Malaysia stock.biz. Now, which one do you go to first? It really depends on where you're coming from. Like me, every night I would go to Bursa Malaysia. In fact, in the afternoon, I will also go to Bursa Malaysia because I want to find out the latest financial result that has been posted. There are some companies that like to post their result during the lunch break. So it is good that you get ahead of the crowd by seeing how the company is performing. But most of them would do it in the evening. So Bursa Malaysia is a place to get the latest financial result, quarterly financial result. Now, what about Malaysia stock business? Now, imagine you are reading the Age CEO morning brief and you come across a stocks and it sounds interesting enough and you haven't studied it before. You don't have the time to actually go into Bursa Malaysia to go in depth. The best place to go to is actually malaysiastock.biz. Just now we have gone through that. You can actually have a quick introductions to the company, as well as having all the quarterly results data, revenue, the pre-tax profit, the net profit, the earning per share, and the NTA, and the dividend as well. And they're all there, and you can actually take it out and massage it and do something about it, and come to your own conclusion whether the stock is a buy or not, right? So we will go there and have a quick look later on, but let's look at how you study these financial results. I'm gonna show you two ways of doing that. The quick glance or the quick look, that is basically you just go to Bursa Malaysia, have a look at a snapshot, have a look at the quarterly result, the latest quarter result, and draw some conclusion quickly. That is one way of doing it. And the other way of doing it is in-depth study. Now, in-depth study is something that I've been doing in order to write my blog. And like I say, a few years back, I discovered Malaysia stock.biz, and where it has tabulated out the quarterly results. So I actually have been using that. But of course, you will tell me, and I'm sure you'll pick it up, that if you just go to Malaysia.biz, you won't get any comment about why the profit goes up. For that, you really do have to go into Bursa Malaysia, get the notes, the account, to study in depth. But if you want to have a quick study, quick as in, well, you are going in depth, but you want to have a few shortcuts, Malaysia stock-biz is one of them. So first of all, let's go to the quick glance, right? Starting with top left, this is the latest result, the second quarter 2021 results. Now, you have probably seen this result before. I have put in 4 alphabet A, B, C, D to denote the columns that I want to refer to. Now, when we look at quarter result, we want to see whether revenue and profits increase quarter on quarter, year on year. Now, when you look at this, you can have year-on-year comparison. Meaning, say, if you look at column A and column B, it is year-on-year. Meaning, you compare with last year, the same quarter last year. Obviously, when you look at top left, there's a no-brainer. Revenue, all the profits, all increase, right? Even down to dividend, it is an increase, because in the second quarter of last year, they actually have no dividend because the company was not doing that particularly well, or because the pandemic was just about to start. So, they didn't declare any dividend. So, yeah, so there's an increase in dividend. So that's one way. You have come to the conclusion already, increase year on year, right? And if you look at C and D, which is actually a comparison between the first 2 quarters, which is the first half of the current year versus last year. And of course, it's the same information, is also increased. Now, here is the thing. When the profit is increasing, at some point, it will come to a plateau where it will start to drop. So it is important that we try to catch that before it drops, right? Whether you want to sell a little bit, it's up to you, or you just want to avoid getting into a stock where it's at a peak. So how do you achieve that? You look for profit dipping compared to the profit 1 quarter just before that, what we call a comparison between this quarter and the immediate preceding quarter. In my blog, I call it a quarter-to-quarter comparison. Now, I choose this because I want you to take a look at column C. C is first and second quarter, whereas column A is second quarter. If you can do a quick arithmetic, yeah, take C, for example, revenue 10 million minus revenue in column A 5.3 million, you would immediately know that the revenue for first quarter is 4.8 million. So revenue is still going up. You go through the same process for the profits, pre-tax or after tax or net profit. You find that they are still going up. It is probably less because in the past 1 or 2 quarters they have been raising up, but they are still going up. So there is no sign of them peaking yet, right? Let's look at the next one, which is actually SLM. And I choose this because it is third quarter. Okay, same process you will go through. You will see that year on year is a big jump. Well, SLM makes formers for the glove industry, so obviously it will be doing well. So now, if you compare the revenue, just take revenue in column C, 50 million, and you compare that with revenue in column A, 22 million. Now, column A is third quarter. Column C is 9 months, 3 quarters. So if you take C minus A, you will have first and second quarter. So let's do that. 50 minus 22 would be 28. 28, if you would divide it by 2, is 14. So 14 million revenue, now 22 million. It is still going up. So if you just take a quick look at it, you know that they are doing very well, right? You don't have the time to study it, but this alone, you can tell they're doing very well. And similarly, of course, the rest of it, whether it's earning per share and all that, they're doing very well, right? Let's move on to the in-depth study. Now, if you have the time and you construct an 8-quarter table, right, you open up 4 tabs of all the results for top glove. You can, consecutively, you can actually construct this, and you will be able to answer the question of whether revenue or profit have been increasing, because you can see, right, revenue has gone from 1 billion to 5 billion, and similarly profit has gone from, say, pre-tax 62 million to 3.7 billion ringgit. So it has been increasing. And if you are to take the data from the second quarter and you put it down here, and as well as the first quarter, put it down here, and you take the data from the second quarter last year, you put it down here, you can quickly, put some formula that you can compute what is the increase or the decrease quarter on quarter and year on year. When I first started writing my blog, this is the basic that I used to form my opinion about stocks. But later on, after many years, yeah, I have a more comprehensive Excel sheet. Right. Now I'm going to jump on to the next one, which is actually taking data from Malaysia stock base and doing something with it. So right now, I'm going to go to my Excel sheet and share with you what I do. All right. Now this is my Excel sheet for top left. Excuse me. As you can see, I have this all the way back to when I first started in 2006. So it is somewhere around 15 years. So I also note down here the reason why the performance has increased or decreased there. And I also take note of the financial position of the stocks. For example, current ratio, gearing ratio, inventory collection period, and debtors as well. And sometimes I also note down the cash holdings. And this is something that I first started out. I would compare the latest 4 quarters with the preceding 4 quarters and see how much it has changed. Yeah. I also would tabulate the pre-tax profit margin and the net profit margin, and also I do a dividend yield, dividend per share. So I do all this in order to draw a graph. I mean, this is the kind of graph that is everybody likes to have, but it is spoiled for analysts. I mean, it's what is there to analyze, but it just shoot up like that, So it is not much to analyze. Yeah. So if you really want to look at these stocks, if you want to study this seriously, just remove the last few quarters and you do a study and why a stock the share price goes up. Yeah. It could be because the profit hit back new high. I think those of you who follow me, you find that one of the things I like to point out is that, look, this company, the profit is now at a new high. So that itself actually spurred the stocks on. Not me calling it, but rather the company profit actually make a new high. That is one of the things that I actually like to point out. And the other thing I like to do, this is a little bit complicated. I don't know whether I should want to share this, is that I like to take the same information that you have just now, right? And I would just add up 4 quarters of, let me just give you the formula here. See. Oh, I cannot show it. Here, the revenue here is actually the total of these four quarters of revenue, all right? And the revenue for November 2020 quarter is actually the total of these 4 quarters. So effectively, at any point in time, we are looking at 1 year of revenue or profits. The reason is that I want to see the moment that revenue or profits were to dip. You can see that if you just have 4 quarters compared to 4 quarters compared to 4 quarters, you can see when they start to dip. Yeah, and this is something that I do. I didn't share much of that on the blog because it's a bit complicated, so I leave it out. But sometimes when I look at this, it sort of back up what I see here when I actually just line up quarter by quarter revenue or profits, because this thing actually back me up, right? So this is my work, right? And as I said, it is a lot of work, and later when I discover Malaysian stock biz, I actually find that I can extract out all the quarterly results, and I put it here on Excel sheet. Now you see, it's actually a lot of data, and I must say that Malaysian stock biz does a very good job. I have not actually found mistake in the data, so they're doing a very good job. So then I can use this to plot the chart. Is it the same as what I have plotted here? Yeah, it's the same. I'm sorry that I cannot actually show you that there are formulas embedded in it, because I actually just copy and send it over. It looks like it may not have the formula there. Let me see whether there is a formula. No, this would be the total of 4 quarters here. So and then if you plot you get that same thing. So yeah, anyway, that is that. And we go back to how to study financial result. Shane, is there any questions anyone has raised?
I think we will address the question afterwards, lah.
All right, good. Right. So that why we what do we look for when we look at financial results and analyze financial results, quarterly financial results? We are looking for revenue and profit increasing quarter on quarter, year on year, right? They should be together. I mean, it is rather weird that if your profit is going up and your revenue is stagnant or go up by less, it's not sustainable. And you also like to look for steady growth. There are ways of doing that. If you look at chart long enough, look at the table, the Excel table long enough, you figure it out. But basically, you would, I show you just now the 8 quarters of results. You know, you can add it up and then compare to the previous 8 quarters. That is one way that you determine the growth. If you do that a few batches of 4 quarters, you get the so-called compounded annual growth in earning. That's one way of doing that. So steady growth is very important. It means that if a company has it should be considered a growth stocks, and it could justify higher PE. And lastly, as I've done it before, we look at new high in all of this revenue or profits, because it simply means that, you know, it is going to a new plateau and deserving of higher prices. Now, so I like to conclude here by saying that that to achieve sustainable growth, we need to be aware of changes in share price, so that we try to buy the stock that is bullish, and we are more likely to be ending up in a stock that will show increased prices. And also we try to get into stocks where the earning is increasing, or the earning, at least it is, if it's not increasing, it is significant, and it justifies the valuations for the stocks. That is why we study this. Yeah, and as I always tell people, I've been in the stock market for 20 over years, and investing to me is a lifelong journey. Like learning is a lifelong journey. People say that it is a rewarding endeavor. Yes, it can be a very rewarding endeavor, but it is something that is compulsory in these days, because if you have any form of saving, you just have to invest it. You cannot just put in a bank, because the return is too insignificant. But the problem in investing is how to invest sustainably, so that instead of, you know, seeking to get return on your investment, some of us may not even get return of our money. So be very careful when you go to investing. But most important, I feel that investing is something that, or rather that, you know, studying stock market is something that is fulfilling also, because it actually you're talking about personal growth here, because you know about the world around you, you know about people outside, and sometimes even you know about yourself better, because you're in the stock market and you learn about investing. So that is all I want to say, and I hope that my sharing will be useful for you in your journey in investing. Thank you, and I'll pass it back to Sean.
Shane,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Shane, yeah, thank
Alex, could you please click the next slide for me? All right. That is the thank you slide. So thanks, Alex, for
Yeah.
Thanks, Alex, for coming to this session to talk about this topic, informed investing, the way for sustainable growth. I think we have learned a great deal about how do we use market data and also prices to make decisions.